Is this an adventure or what? We don't need unexplained phenomena. I hope you guys are enjoying this journey we're taking you on. I know you come expecting to hear about big cats, cryptids, UFOs. We will touch on some of that, but I think it's worth sharing some of this with you, don't you? There's only 2 living souls up here today.
Because I can see it in my mind, I can see it in my head what I saw, but I can't describe.
Our eyes was closed, like a brightish light in my face, and I just felt paralysed.
Someone said there's something out there, so we had a look. It looked like a walnut. That's the only way I can describe it.
It was like it had loads of tiny little windows all over it, and it had lights in those windows, but not a light that illuminates.
Anyway, we were ushered into this lounge. This fella come in, he said, whatever you saw was a weather effect.
And everything is deathly silent. There's no sea, there's no wind, there's no night noise, because, you know, there's foxes all over here. There's nothing.
Nothing. How are you doing, people? Great to see you on this Sunday night, and welcome to another hour, 2 hours of Truth Proof. And I'm really looking forward to speaking with our guest tonight, and we want some questions from you guys tonight. Capital letters. I'm sure Lee, Jem and Alison, I'm not sure if Alison's in, will be asking you the same thing. We're talking to Stan Smith. Last spoke to Stan on last transmission when me and Chris were doing that, and really interesting bloke. So it'd be good to hear what he's got to share with us. But before we get to that, let's have a look who we've got in. We've got Lee doing moderating, Chris Max in, Jem's doing moderating, Dan, Ian Langton, Doc Martin. Good to see you. I really enjoyed last week's live stream, and it was strange. It was like Marmite, really, for some people, because I know a lot of you like these kind of questions and answer ones where people tell stories of the strange and unusual. And let's face it, I like that as well. But massive respect to Martin, and you know, it was just great having them on last week. I really enjoyed it, and I know I got some brilliant feedback. I think it was a great live stream, to be honest with you. And let's just have a look. Michelle Walters, Lee Roscoe, Linda, John Hunsley, Dan Moon, Jojo, Bob, Andy H, Annie FB. Let's have a look. John Priestland. It went in my head then. Martin and John Priestland. I was searching for it. I was going through my mind. People would have seen the little cogs going there. John Priestland. What a great guest. So, Rob Hilton and Dragonborn. Good to see you. Darren Skits. I'm going to stop. 40an's in. Good to see you. Zero Dawn. Zen's in. And Glyn Taylor. I have to stop because we'll bring in Stan, and we'll get on with this, shall we? Don't forget, we want some questions for Stan. Now, Stan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
Really good, and all the better for seeing you, and great that you're going to share a few of these strange stories of your own and some of other people. Yeah. And let's see if we can get some questions that are going to sort of challenge us mind a little bit as well in this chat. And have you been busy since we last spoke to you on last transmission?
Yeah, busy for the first part last year. A bit quieter the second part due to family commitments and that kind of thing. Then, before you know it, Christmas is on you, and we really were hit bad with the snow up here, and it was really, really heavy rain, a lot of flooding for about maybe 8 weeks or so. So it wasn't wise to be travelling out and about in the Cairngorms or
absolutely
North D side. It was pretty bad for flooding. So yeah, but hopefully we'll be getting out soon.
All good. So, I mean, we can start wherever you want with this, Stan, and no doubt we'll go off on a bit of a tangent, because after you'll speak about something, I'm hoping we get a few questions up that are going to sort of, I don't know, lift lid a little bit on what other people think. So take us back to earliest event for you, and let's just work through it from there. I think we're going back to when in your teens, aren't we?
Yeah, it was December 1996. I had not long started my YTS scheme, and coming from a mining area, it was just an unemployment black spot. So the YTS was a good thing for, I mean, it was slave labour really, because you were doing the same job as everybody else, but you were only getting £27.50 a week. but it kept me out of trouble. So yeah, doing that, and it was the first sort of kind of works night out, Christmas night out that I had ever been to. And I must stress, I hadn't been drinking. I wasn't allowed to drink, and the party disco finished about midnight, and it was about 8 miles away for the family home. And the money that I had left, I caught a taxi, and I was only able to get to the edge of the town of Kirkcaldy, and that left me with about maybe say 6 miles or so to walk home. So I'm walking home, long straight A road, walking on the same, well, walking into the direction of the traffic so you can see anything coming towards you. And roughly about 2.5 mile into that walk, I heard like a wire fence, like if somebody's stepping over a wire fence or climbing, that screechy sort of twanging kind of noise. And I'm getting goosebumps and just talking about it. And I turned round, and what I saw was this, as black as you can imagine, black, solid, deep black figure. 2D, not 3D. I mean, you know, when you look at something in the dark, you'll know when you're out up into the hills in Bempton, even though it's pitch black, you can make out someone, you know, if they're wearing what they're wearing and whatever.
Yeah. Different shades and different shades.
This was just solid black. But it moved its head, and when it moved its head, it looked like a funnel. You know, like the old 1970s Parkers, the snorkels with a funnel. Yeah. That's.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
It just looked like. Well, I just started running. I ran as fast as I could have never ran like that in my life, and never since. When I looked back, it was keeping pace with me, never gaining, never falling back, and it seemed to glide. You know, it wasn't like if it was running, you would see it bobbing up and down. And I got into an area where it had which was the village of Windygates. It was a new bypass that had just kind of been finished that year, and it had street lighting. Now, in between that area that I had just ran, there is cottages and there's a farmhouse on the left hand side. I never once thought, will I go and knock on a door?
What time are we roughly? You probably said
this would have been about between 1, 2 in the morning.
So you wouldn't have been popular if you'd have knocked on a door, would you?
Exactly. Yeah. Plus, as well, at the time, all the movies that were out, and you saw somebody getting chased, and they stopped and knocked on the door, they got murdered, they got eaten, or whatever. So I was just want to get home. I was just, you know, my mate was survival, just get home. And so when I got into the area with the street lighting, I had the choice. I could have went into the village of Windygates, or I could have ran further up and got into the village in Methil Hill, and I just kept running. When I looked back, when I got into the lit area, this entity, whatever it was standing at. It had stopped at the first street light.
Right.
Just stopped and was just standing there. I kept running. I got to the second roundabout, and then I took up the hill towards the straight into my hometown and leaving. And once I got out the street area, the street lighting area, I heard that noise again.
The wire noise.
The wire noise, and it was behind me again.
That's crazy, isn't it? Because there was I was going to just pull you back to that, because there's a physical there, isn't there? Even if we're thinking it's some
Yes.
holographic,
Yeah.
you get, but the wire doesn't fit now, does it? Not where
No.
you were. It might have fit
No,
a few miles back, but it,
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't sit in with that scenario. So
no.
that's weird, isn't it? How
Yeah.
you work that one out? Oh, you had years to digest it. What are your thoughts?
I'm really not sure what it was. Is it I mean, my over the years, I mean, I think about it every day.
Really?
It's always there. It's always there. I always get it comes back, and you
Well,
always
give us a description, as in with this funneled like the Parker coat.
yeah.
But you can see nothing inside that.
There's nothing inside that.
But it stopped at the street light. Did you
Yeah.
get to see anything then?
No, it was still solid black. It was like if you had cut out a cardboard cutout and held it up, solid black. You couldn't see anything, like, and it was so smooth. Like, I mean, you see me against this, you could see the creases of my sweatshirt or whatever. Nothing like that. Just perfect lineage.
And when you're running then through this village or little town with street lights, what's the distance there? Is it quarter of a mile? Is it half a mile or hundreds of yards?
That would have been, I would say, roughly maybe a mile. There's a mile street light, and I would estimate that at the most.
It doesn't seem to have pursued you for a mile. Once you get away from the light, it's there.
My original kind of thought on it was had cut across a ploughed field, because where I had left it and then it reappeared, it was kind of in a curve, and I thought it maybe cut across the field and it came over the fence there. But the more I think about it, I think I'm not sure if it's like another dimension it was coming through. It was able to, disappear, appear,
It
elsewhere.
didn't like the light, though, did it?
No, it didn't. It did not like the light. It did not want to be in the light.
And you know that when you talk about it, saying you've never seen anything as black, it's just blacker than anything that you've ever seen that's black.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder where these things come from, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what kind of place that they reside, if they're there as some kind of permanent residence, if that doesn't sound true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's got to come from somewhere, hasn't it? It's got to originate from somewhere. And why you? It fixed on you. It focused on you. What did it just want to upset you and nerve you? Because it's done it.
I think it. I think the more I think about it, I think it was feeding off my fear. That's almost like a vampire. Vampire. No, I was too terrified.
Yeah. Okay.
I was absolutely bricking it. I have never had fear like that in my life, before or after.
And just, we'll not dwell on it for too long, but did you notice any difference in the atmosphere, or did you get what people call in the lower silence? Did everything go quiet?
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. What I noticed is, from its appearance till I got home, and when I got home and I peered out my bedroom window because we lived across by a play park, and then there was like a subway that went underneath the main road. It was standing at the mouth of the subway, the entrance to the subway. It was standing there.
And it knew. Did you get the feeling it's looking at me?
Yeah. It knew where I was. It was staring right. It was in the direction looking straight at my house.
So it's a lovely ending to a party, that one then, Stan, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and I did speak about it. I did tell a few close friends about it, and back then I kind of joked, and I didn't tell them that I maybe thought that, I just said, I got chased by a guy with a snorkel. Sort of testing the kind of water.
Yeah.
And they were all really kind of like just like making fun of me and laughing. And then about 6 months later, we had been, my mate who drove at the time, we're in his dad's car, we're coming back for being out in a nightclub. Again, no alcohol or anything, we weren't drinkers. And we're coming along the Standing Stone Road. And Shug was an American football player. He was like 6'4" and 25 stone. He was absolutely a mountaineer man. And he jokingly, as we're heading along, he goes, "Oh, I wonder if we'll see a Snorkel Man tonight," you know, winding me up. And then all I heard was him, loads of foul language. And there was a dark figure at the side of the road, exactly where I had my experience, the start of my experience. He floored the car. It was like a little Fiat 127 or something like that, like the ones that look like a ladder.
Yeah,
And,
he'd have looked good in that at 25 stone, wasn't he?
Yeah, aye. And we got into the lit area. Well, sorry, as we passed, his boot popped up.
Right.
It just popped up, opened, and we got into the lit area, and he pulled in, and he turns and he goes, "You're getting out to put that boot in, because I ain't getting out." He says, "You've dealt with this." And I got out and didn't see anything. It wasn't at the street light, nothing like that. But there was definitely something definitely at the side of the road.
How much of that, Stan? I mean, over years, you'll have thought about that. But the chances of seeing it again, you know, he saw it. How much of that do you think was attributed to you? Because to me, it just seems like a needle in an haystack kind of scenario, that one. That you've seen it, you've experienced it, you've been chased, then you find yourself months or whatever time span between later, and it's seen again, but you're there again.
I'm there, and the fact that he mentioned it, he brought it up.
So I guess the thing I'd ask next is, have you been back to test it?
No.
No, I'm not suggesting you do. I'm just
We've been along the road various times, but I've never actually. We went. Me and my partner Joe. She's quite. She's very in tune, and about maybe 2 years ago, we were heading down to my parents, and I had said to her, but maybe 10, 15 minutes before we even hit the Standing Stone Road, I just said to her, "Tune in and tell me what you could find out about this place."
So she's psychic, your partner's psychic.
Yeah. And very, very spiritual. And I didn't tell her where we were going, nothing like that. And we got on the road. And as soon as we got on the road, she took a deep breath and she was like, "I'm getting really like stomach cramps." And she named somebody's name, and it turns out that was one of the young lads who was involved in a fatality along that road.
Okay.
But when we got to the junction where there's a road called the Check Bar, she turned around and she looked at me and she instantly knew where we were, because she went, "It started following you here, but it only made itself aware further up the road."
Right. So she'd picked that up then, yeah?
She picked that up. She said it followed you for this point, and it was probably about half a mile.
Yeah.
She reckoned that it was stalking me. You know, it was stalking me. It was like the guy on the mountain bike that you interviewed in Truth Proof. In Wolflands, where he was in the woods, and
that's right. He's passing through Langdale and pacing him, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's exactly what it was doing to me. It was pacing behind me, never catching up, never falling back, but would stop at when there was light.
You see, you saw its outline, Stan. So what I'm going to ask next, I think you'll say no, but you've seen this funneled part. That couldn't have been a muzzle then.
No.
I
don't. No, because I have had that mentioned to me before. Somebody said, "Oh, could it have been a dog man or whatever?" But No, I mean this was a totally different kind of being, so to speak. Jet black. You couldn't see fur, nothing like that. It was just a perfect lineage, like I suppose, like not even like a shadow person, because they're kind of, I suppose they're kind of fuzzy or round the edges, or But this was a definite, hard lined, straight. As I said, there was nothing like this where clothing sort of shows contours or anything like that. It was just solid.
Shape. Yeah.
Perfect shape. Yeah.
Just before we move on to, I think we'll have a look at this 1990 UFO. Let me just get rid of that. I think this applies to us, but some at team will go up there might know more about this than me, or you might know some about it. So Ian says, Paul, would you consider taking an AI assistant with you to Danesdyke or the Cliffs to see what and if it has a reaction? And anybody who knows me knows I'm not that savvy with computers and what have you. But I think we'd consider anything here, and if we thought, we would get some kind of truthful result if it was something that could be repeated. Well, sometimes you can repeat it and it never does it again, does it? But it'd be worth considering, but I don't know enough about AI assistant or anything to sort of jump in and say, that'd be a great idea and we'll do it this way or that way. I'm not sure if it's anything you know about, Stan, is it?
No, that's name my forte is AI or anything like that.
So before we leave this dark entity, Never Seen Out, I like that name. Is the road anywhere near any earthworks, standing stones, or? Well,
funny you should say that, because I had to actually finish the experience. It is called the Standing Stone Road because there is a standing stone in the field, practically right opposite where I started having my experience. And the other kind of weird synchronicity with the story is I ended up becoming friends with a lad who lived in the farmhouse, and it was his dad's farm. And I told him about the experience I had, and he was telling me his dad had been ploughing the field and knocked the stone over.
Right.
This was in the 1970s when he's the same age as me, so he must have been about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
His dad fell ill for about 3 weeks, really, really ill. They thought they were going to lose him. And it wasn't until the stone was erected back into the proper position that it was and put back into the spot. And then his dad became okay again. There's a lot of mines in the area. It's a mining area. Over the woods that came out of the village, maybe less than half a mile over that, hits on the coast, hit big mining village, Weems, East Weems, you've got West Weems, Coltney Weems. You've also got the Weems Caves on the shore of the Forth, which is absolutely full of Neolithic art. That road is an absolute nightmare for accidents. It's a straight road. The amount of accidents and fatalities that's been on that road.
And have there been any reports of anybody else seeing what you're?
Well, last year there was a post on one of the local sort of gossip pages, Facebook pages, where there had been an accident, and somebody had put a comment up. Oh, hey, I wonder if it was a ghost that caused it. The ghost. So I posted on underneath that and said, hey, I had an experience December 1986. Feel free to contact me, tell me, and I'll share you my experience. I think there was 3 people, and none of them have contacted me. None of them have got back.
It's interesting. It'd be great if they did, though. It don't make any less than what you're saying, but it makes you feel a little bit better, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah,
you've got back.
But just knowing that other people have had experiences makes a huge difference to me, because it makes it, it kind of confirms that I did see something. I wasn't imagining it. because that's what you're scared to see it. You know, folk are going to label you.
Yeah. Well, that comes with the territory, doesn't it, Stan? Let's face it.
Yeah.
Well, we did a short film on a place called Old Man's Mouth in close to Raincliffe Woods in North Yorkshire, telling me about this figure that stands in the road, a dark figure, just a dark figure. And I don't think James, when he was telling me, expected other people to come out, but there's another 2 people come forward talking about it, saying that they've seen it. So that's good. There's another question relating to this. So Tim says, even though it was gliding, were the arms and legs moving?
No. No.
Sounds like a conga, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Not that I seen the arms. As I said, it didn't look as though it was running or jogging or whatever behind me. There was no movement that I seen of the arms or the legs. It just glided.
There were some lads, obviously this is a cryptid type site in Harwood Dale in North Yorkshire. They were on mountain bikes going down one of these logging roads, and this thing just appeared in the bracken to the, I think they're going down, it's to the left of them, and that they said for all intents it were crossed between a bear and a gorilla, but what they found most fascinating and unnerving is it were looking at them and it were just gliding. They said there's divots, there's rocks, there's logs, there's everything, and it just kept a solid trajectory all the way down the side of them. Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
It's bizarre. Yeah. Really is bizarre.
So this is it's running and running, this one. Would you consider hypnosis, Stan, to go back to that night?
I have thought about it, but I'm worried about my sanity.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, because
I don't blame you.
I didn't want to open a Pandora's box.
Do you know? I think if there's any doubt with anything like that, regression and things, I think that best err on caution myself. I don't think I'd ever do it. There's got to be a reason I can't remember some of these things. I think, you know. Right. So let's have a look. Andy H. A lot of similarities to what I saw on Dartmoor. Yeah, Andy, he's been on and told us some incredible stories. So thanks, Andy. Ian Linney. Let's have a look. What do you think it might have? Stan, do you think it might have done you harm if you had not run? Yes, don't blame you for running. Yeah. Yeah.
At the time, I thought it was out to get me. I thought I was a goner. I just run on pure adrenaline. But the more I think about it and what I've thought about it is, it could have caught me. If it wanted, it could have caught me. I think it was just feeding off my emotions and feeding off the fear. That's the feeling that I'm getting now. That's what I'm kind of pretty certain that was feeding off, was my fear.
Your fear, yeah. It's that gap between the village or the town is what I find most interesting.
Yeah,
it just appears again. Like you said, it's gone over a ploughed field. So, but that implies that it probably would have had to do a little bit further distance-wise to get back to you.
Yeah.
But what distance so when it appeared again, was it a similar distance to when you last saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll right, Vorpa. What sounds closest to this entity? The Black Stickmen, the Shadow People? Do you feel, Stan? Or the Shadow People? And thanks for telling us. You're very brave.
I can't really put it into any kind of. I've never heard another story like it. I mean, I know the Shadow Men, that people see that, but they're kind of sort of blurry and shimmery, is what I've kind of read or heard people speak about. But this was something different. I think this was something. Yeah.
Well, I said, have you put it to test? And it doesn't sound like you'd want to be honest with you, does it?
No.
Why tempt fate? We'll just run this one out then. What do you think of the idea that it could have been a guardian angel trying to make sure you got home safe?
Well, I think if it had been a guardian angel, I wouldn't have had that instant fear.
Thank you. Yeah.
This was just pure fear that I felt instantly.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever had fear like it in my life. You know, never.
So we've got another question. I thought we'd be on to the UFO encounter, but Zen says, "Hi Stan, when you saw the entity, was it still in motion before it stopped?" I suppose it would have been in motion before it stopped.
Yes, yeah.
Or was it frozen? Sounds like a quantum locking, can only move when not seen. That's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Giant Kenny from South Park is disturbing.
Aye, yeah. Who killed? But instead of Kenny, it'd be who killed Stan.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we might have run out of these questions now. But thanks, Jojo, and let's just have a look. Just good. I don't want to. I always get accused of not doing questions, even. So let's just do this, unless it. Who knows what our ancient ancestors worshipped, or at least venerated, and there must have been a good reason for it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have wasted time and effort doing so. I'm assuming we're talking about the stone, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That area, as I said, it's absolutely soaked in Neolithic. You know, even where my parents live, maybe say 15 years ago, when the field across the road they started building houses, they found a burial ground, which was on Time Team. So, yeah, and there was rumours that there was smugglers' tunnels for the caves on the coast at Weems up to the old hotel at Windygates. So, you know, there's a lot of earthworks there.
Martin says, how about a trip with me or a group of us to access the area? Might be something you don't want to do, maybe, you know. Yeah, I think we've got answer to that one, Martin. Right. Well, do you know something? It tells us how much it's affected you, because you've not jumped in and gone, oh, yeah, Paul, if you want to come up, we'll do that. That's good enough. Pat had a similar incident driving home in the early hours from a concert with her sister. I wish we'd have got to hear that, because what Dragonborn's referring to is Pat Adams Wright, who we've had on here as a guest. And I think she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably 2 years today or yesterday that Pat passed away. So I think everybody in chat who knew Pat, who come in contact with, all had fond memories of her. So thanks for that, Dragon. This sounds like a dementor. I'm wanting to get to this UFO. I hope you've got stopped with questions. Right, let's have a look. We'll just do this one. Has it ever appeared to you in a dream?
No.
Mm.
Never appeared in a dream.
Okay.
That was the only time I saw it. And like the 6 months after that, we saw it at the side of the road.
Yeah.
But we never hung around to make sure it was definitely that or not. But it was just so weird that, you know, he brought it up, he spoke, he was mocking it, and bam, it appeared.
Yeah, it sounds too much of a coincidence for it not to be.
Too much of a coincidence.
To be, yeah.
And the mere just mentioning it, and then it, you know, it's like Beetlejuice. Say you mention Beetlejuice 3 times, and Beetlejuice appears. It's
Well, I hope this doesn't reappear. And I thought we'd done it, but Studio 211. Stan, have you researched any details for any fatalities to see if times of your sighting correlate to the time of an accident? Yeah, we don't have to say the D word, do we? Were there any accidents around the time or date or month?
Yeah, but there's accidents all the time on there. That whole area, and even in the other village of Buckhaven, because they're all very close, these little mining areas. They're all like maybe a mile apart from each other, or half a mile. There's a junction at the old Buck and Hind pub, and it's a Buck and Hind.
Yeah, I'm going to say you won't be able to say that 3 times without swearing, would you?
Yeah, Buck and Hind pub. Yeah. So, but there's been numerous accidents at that junction, and there was quite recent. Well, 15 years ago, there was a guy in the cottage for no apparent reason. murdered his family,
Right. Okay.
and the house has been demolished.
Right.
And it is a strange area that there is a lot of negative stuff,
Negative energy around there.
negative energy around. Yeah, I mean, you could be driving and you'll just feel it. You can just feel it driving through or whatever. It's very, very. The atmosphere just changes.
Okay, well, we'll change the atmosphere now. Then I want, if that's okay, Stan.
Fine, yeah.
I want to take us now to the 1990 UFO encounter and the similarities to, is it Calvin?
Calvin, yeah.
Yep.
It was a girl that a friend of mine knew, and this was summer 1990. She was a trainee nurse at the time in Perth, and she was travelling back after a late shift. So again, you're talking maybe early hours of the morning, and she gets to the part of the road which is Uckmuir Bridge, which is on the A911, maybe about 2 miles west of the village of Leslie in Fife. And here above the bridge, which is a really, really old bridge, proper old brick bridge, maybe about 30 feet above the bridge, suspended, hovering, is this diamond-shaped craft. She comes down round the corner, here's this thing just hovering there. She nearly took the car off the road because she couldn't keep her eyes off this thing. She just sped up the hill, in through the village of Leslie, into Glen.
We just lost Stan for a minute, or you've lost me. I don't know which, but it'll come back. Okay, people, I don't know whether we've lost Stan or whether my internet connection's dropped. I'm not sure. I'm sure that we'll get Stan back momentarily. But weren't that interesting, this dark entity? And I'm talking here and I might not be actually being heard. But we had, right, we're back, or I'm back. I hope you can hear me. Just give us a thumbs up if you can. Stan froze, thanks for that. Hopefully he'll be back in. But we had a spell along the cliff tops, where we were seeing the dark shapes of, I wouldn't say people because it was always singular, but we were seeing it. And that lasted for a few months, as a collective, people were seeing this. Sometimes 1 and 2, 3 people would see it at the same time. Sometimes it would just singular. But then it disappeared. Then it's just stopped. That doesn't seem to be happening now for some reason. And Stan doesn't seem to be happening for some reason, does he? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tell us a little reports until Stan comes back. Hopefully he'll be back. So I've got a few little stories ready to tell people. If he drops in, he can just wait for a minute, can't he? But one of them's close to where I used to live, at a place called Old Dennerby. Let's have a look. And here he is back. We hadn't started it. Sound like, what would it used to say? I've started, so I'll finish, but I'm not going to do. There you go, Stan. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, what happened there? Was it?
Well, I'm looking at questions. Or it said Stan's screen froze, so I'm assuming the internet connection just dropped out. But no big deal, mate. We're all good.
Okay. Yeah.
So where were we?
Yeah, she managed to get into her hometown of Methil, straight to the police station, and reported it to the guy on the desk, who took all the details, rolled his eyes as usual, kind of smirking and kind of, somebody will be, I'll pass this on. Didn't expect to hear anything. And then 2 days later, when she was off shift and at home, she gets a knock on the door, and there's 2 guys in grey suits, not men in black, nothing like that, two guys in grey suits. She kind of thought, oh, maybe CID, something like that. I probably would reckon it's probably special branch or something.
Yeah.
And asked her what she had saw, asked her some questions and that, and how she felt about it, and then told her that she didn't see anything.
Right. I see.
Yeah,
And-
you didn't, and then he go about talking about it.
See, so that's it tells you loads, doesn't it? That,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Did that frighten her more than seeing the object?
I think in equal measures.
Mm.
I think both. I think she was really shooken up by what she saw, as in, how could this thing just be hovering there? She'd never seen nothing like it in her life. We used to see that area, that was quite busy with, phantoms and tornadoes, because you only had like RAF Lukers 15 miles away up the road. So you would see and hear planes pretty much every day, so we know what a jet looks like, and we know what a Harrier looks like, but
Yeah.
this was just a perfect diamond.
And
And
that was 1990, and
that was the summer in 1990.
there's, you're thinking similarities to the Calvine. Is it Calvine or Calvine?
Calvin in August 1990. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had attended the talk there last year at Blair Athol, which is the village just down for Calvine, and the village hall. Dr. David Clark was doing a talk about his kind of like findings on the photos that the two hotel workers had taken.
Yeah.
And the MOD guy who confiscated the photos for the Daily Record was there as well.
Right.
And I mean, Dr. David Clark, he really debunks stuff. That's what he's known for. Him and his team. Hey, this photo's genuine.
Yeah. That's his conclusions.
That's his conclusion. This photo is genuine. He's not saying it's a spacecraft out of space or anything like that. I mean, it could be exotic technology, being tested. But he says, yeah, that is genuine. That photo's genuine. That is a photo of something up in the sky with that jet plane circling it.
It is. It's a fascinating photograph, isn't it? And
Yeah.
and like you said, Dr. David Clark debunks stuff. But in a way, and I'm not sticking up for him. I mean, I've never met him. I've spoke to him.
Yeah.
But that's what we should all do anyway. We should be trying to find
Yeah.
the logical
Right,
answers.
the logical, the rational answers before, making your mind up and letting your imagination run wild.
It weren't 1990, but it was. Something tells me it was 84, and I may have spoke about it a few weeks ago. But they were little fishing trawler between Bridlington Bay and a place called Barmston. Stan, I know these places. It's like your area. They're not going to mean loads to me. Well, they're about 6 miles off. They're looking inland. There's sandy beach and like dunes and grassy tufts, a bit like Leven. You know Leven. Because I spent some time up there. My granddad used to live up there, and they can see low over the dunes a silver diamond-shaped object.
Yeah,
and they're on radio to other lads in little fishing boats. They're all looking at it, and it's there. It's not flying. It's there, and it turned. They said they could see it turn, and just like a bullet, it just shot straight out of the sea and over the top of the boats. But as it passed over them, all radio communication cut.
Yeah.
Who's to say that that's not some tech that we're testing? It's not beyond realms of possibility, is it?
Yeah.
And
No.
I went to speak to a quite elderly lady. I'm not going to say where because it'll identify her. You're right. Do you mind if I speak about this, Stan?
No, not at all.
It's your show, really. Late last year, and she'd been in police force, a detective actually. And back in the day, I think we're going back to 1990. It could be a little bit before. She lived near Dalby Forest in a cottage in the forest. Coming home from her parents, her husband's on a course, and she's driving home. She's got the dog in the back seat, and she becomes aware of a fuzzy feeling in her head, almost audible. I was sat there. She told me all this buzzy feeling, and it goes off. She looks at the dog. The dog's not affected. The dog doesn't do anything. And as she rounds this corner over the trees, she sees a huge black flying saucer or oval shaped object in the night. It's absolutely monstrous. I'm thinking, typical size. We say, well, it's as big as a bus, much bigger. And here's her analogy. She stopped and looked at it. She said, at about 45 degrees, it spit out 5 lights. And I'm not going to get sequence right, but it would have been white, blue, red, yellow, green. And it spit these lights out at about 45 degrees. And each of those lights were about as big as a bus, she says. And she's looking at this thing. Yeah. And then they sort of just went and they're back into it. And it's just gone. Yeah. She drives home. She rings the police. She says, to report it. Doesn't even say... She gives a name and that, and no doubt that I don't even know if back in the day they could instantly check who you were, but she said, I never said. Said, will you be around? Somebody might want to ring you. This tells me that somebody else might have seen something. She said, well, I can't sleep. I can't get it out of my mind. So 5-10 minutes later, RAF Fylingdales ring her, which was very close to where she were living. Yeah. They ask her to describe what she's seen, and basically she's told a similar story to you. You've not seen anything. Do you know what I mean? She says, and every question I asked, I would just close down. Don't mean they were being clever with her, but that all they wanted was the information, and there was nothing coming from their end, and that's the way it is. Yeah. And that she thought that would be end of it, and then later that night, she's not gone to bed. The fuzzy, buzzing feelings in her head again. Goes to her back door, which has got nothing but a little pasture and then the forest, and it's there again. It's over the trees. Now I can't remember the report in great detail, but I don't think it put the lights out this time. It was just there. And then when it just sort of came to me when you said, she were told you've not seen anything, you basically just shut up. Yeah, just shut up. That's the way it is. It looks like we're just going to go back to that standing stone. Just temporarily to stand, if that's okay. There is a standing stone on that road, thought to be part of a bigger complex. Never seen out. Just saying. You probably knew that, Stan, but thank you. Yeah. Okay. So do you think we've exhausted? Oh, you went to the talk afterwards with David Clark. What general opinion from other people, and what were the people there that had never seen anything but were impressed afterwards?
The one that kind of really stuck out to me was the 2 old ladies that were doing the teas, coffee, and the home bakes, and they were just totally blown away because they had never heard of this happening. They had no idea that this event had happened, and how significant it was in the UFO lore, so to speak. And one of the old women was saying, I'm going to be scared to go out tonight, and and she had just could not believe it, and the amount of people that turned up that was interested in it.
So she lived there all her life.
She lived there all her life, and she'd never heard of this happening in 1990. So. And even though it was in newspapers and it's been on TV as well as just on podcasts and the internet, I mean, she had never heard of it. Nobody local had really spoke about it, as far as she knew.
When we were making Wolflands, obviously we're spending a lot of time in similar locations to what I've just spoke about up near Dalby Forest and what have you. But we ended up on Silfo Moor, which is all close, Yeah. And there's, I think it was 1957, November 1957, allegedly a small flying saucer crashed or landed on Silfo Moor. It's most likely a hoax. Dr. David Clark, if you remember years ago, he were in national newspapers saying he'd found parts of a flying saucer when he did a talk at a. And a curator from the museum he were doing the talk at brought this box that said UFO parts or flying spaceship parts or words to that effect.
Yeah.
And they believe it was the Silpho saucer, or parts of the Silpho saucer. But that's not what I'm meaning. When we were doing Wolflands, we did a bit of door knocking because we talked about the Silpho saucer, just touched on it a little bit. And researchers, as allegedly, because plenty of people talked about it back in the day, in the 50s and 60s, the Silpho saucer, but nobody had ever taken the time to actually visit and ask the locals. And it kind of rings true with these two elderly ladies who were supplying refreshments, the cakes and the tea.
Yeah.
Nobody, I bet no alleged UFO researchers had ever been knocking on the doors and saying anything unusual have happened, you know?
Yeah.
Just the way of things. So I'm just, the flying object, right, what's have we got here then? The flying object, not the thin man. Not sure where we are with that one. Do you know what he's referring to, Stan? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay then. So we've done the Calvin, well, not the Calvin UFO, but the diamond shaped. So what about 2019 and the cottage on the edge of the Cairngorms?
Aye, yeah, that's it. It's the whole kind of like Royal Deeside area. There's been loads of cryptid reports there, even quite recently as well. My partner Jo, she interviewed a guy who him and his family used to rent out this cottage. Every Christmas they would go up here and have a week in this cottage that was for rent. And the last time they went, when they arrived, they dropped their gear off at the place. They had two young kids, and they went for a jump in the back in the car down to an area which is called. It's like an old sort of kind of like glacier where the glacier's cut through the rock down near the wee village of Dinnet. And all the dogs were just acting weird. Just one of themselves, spooked kind of behaviour. And when they got back to the cottage, the kids' sledges had been scent marked. And the smell was so pungent, unbelievable. And later on that night, they were hearing kind of strange, sort of kind of like animal noises, kind of whoops and this kind of thing. And the wife went into the kitchen, and the kitchen window is about 7 feet high for the ground, 7 to 8 feet high off the ground outside.
Right.
And here's this massive hand on the pane of glass and this face, almost human gorilla-like, heavy brow, but more human in the face. It's dark. You could just make it out through the light for the kitchen hitting the window. She runs back through because the kids are in their bed, tells her husband, he comes through, and there's just this massive handprint on the window. Through the night, there was lots of activity, noises going on, like this thing was trying to scare them. When the next morning in daylight, before the kids got up, she had lifted the window up and wiped the handprint off. And only if they had got a photograph of it, you know, it would have been ideal. Later that day, a number of 4x4 sort of kind of big pickup trucks with guys with overalls on, zipping around the place. And then later at night, up on the hill at the back of the property, there was amber searchlights like through the woods. So make that what you will, what's going on. So that was maybe a year and a half ago that Joe interviewed the guy. So we decided, three of us, there was myself, Joe, and our mate Kev Duncan. Me and Joe went out first. So we went out the area one night and stopped, and she's like, I need to stop here. I've got a feeling I've got to stop here. I need to take some photos. I'm like, it's pitch black. We're on a single track road. We can't stop here because the local folks zip about here, at all speeds. All it needs is somebody to come up and they're into the back of me. Anyway, I stopped the car. She gets out and she's taking photos into the darkness. And I'm sitting, and we've got Nessie, which is her dog. She's in the back. And at the same time, I just hears this voice in my right ear saying, "What you doing here? What you doing here?"
Inside your head or audible, do you think?
Audible. It wasn't mind speak. It was at the side of me. Bang on as that voice spoke, Nessie went absolutely ballistic. She went absolutely ballistic and was up at the rear window of the car, barking like hell. The passenger door's open. Joe turns round and she's going, "What's going on? Get in the effing car now." Get in. And as soon as she gets in, she hasn't even got the door shut. Flying down the road. So we gets about a mile down the road and she's like, "We've got to go back." And I'm like, I'm going nowhere. We are not going back there. No, we have to. We sat for 5 minutes, so I reluctantly turned the car around, and she's braver than me. And gone down the road, and we gets to the point, and nothing. And that's an embankment, high, heavy bushes, gorse, and all that, and then the trees at the back. And then there's a wee road off to the left with a grit box, and nothing there, no one going about. So we called it a night and we headed back, and I posted the photos up on our Facebook page, which is Phenomenon Aberdeen and Shire. And that morning, Joe gets a message for the guy that she interviewed, and he goes, "How did you know where to stop? Because you never disclosed where this cottage was." And I mean, it was pitch black, but this photo came out, and it's quite clear. It's like it's early evening.
Yeah.
And he goes, "That's where it happened." So about a week later, we're speaking to our friend Kev, and Kev's like, "I had a really weird dream. I was in the car we used to in Nessie, and we're going down this road," he says, "and there's this yellow grit box at this junction, and I says to you, is this where that weird experience happened you had?" And we just kind of looked at each other, me and Joe, and we said, "Do you fancy going out for a run tonight?" "Aye, why not?" So Kev's in the back with Nessie. We are driving down the road where this happened. And before we even got to the grit box, he's like, "Oh my God, this is where this happened, isn't it?" And then as we got further down, here's the grit box. And that totally freaked him out. He's like, how did I have that dream? This is exactly what I dreamt was this.
It's crazy, isn't it? What do you think happened there then, Stan? Because obviously this will have been playing heavily on your mind, won't it? You'll have going through scenario, and I'm not saying this guy's mind reading, but what's the process there? Because if he's never been there before, how could he envisage those places and those things? It's almost like he's picked up on your thoughts.
Yeah. Is it something that we're transmitting? Are we giving that off? To other people, or I mean, who knows?
does he think?
What did he think?
Yeah, we know what he thought, and he's going, "Oh my God, that we're here." But what did he think had happened to impart those images into his mind?
I have no idea. We never really spoke about it. What we did, there's more that happened on that night when we passed that part, and then we were going to the area where the hill was. We were planning to go there, and we had been there the week before. I knew the road, so it's only about 1.5 miles away. So I'm on the road heading towards the second area where the searchlights were seen, and it's taken forever to get there. And I mean, it's like a 5-minute car journey, and we're like 25 minutes in, and then we come into this place that I'm like, where are we? So I pulls up, and I goes onto my phone and I looks Google Maps and to see your location. And we're actually heading back into the village that you've got to come out of to get onto this road. And I'm like, how are we here? We didn't even come on this road.
So
there was missing time.
Yeah, that's what I'm just getting at. Yeah, there's a bit some kind of time.
There was missing time, and we all felt kind of spacey.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Absolutely.
Really was bizarre. I can't explain that one, and that's another one I'm not too keen about getting the regression done.
Well, me personally, I'd just stay clear of regression, but that's up to you, Stan. But
no,
these events obviously have impacted on your life because you sat here and you're almost reliving them, especially the first one, the Dark Entity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've no desire to test it, have you? There's no desire to test it. Go back there.
We've been out that area various times. The last time we went out, Joe felt it was really peaceful. There was even the dog wasn't reacting how she was reacting the 3 or 4 times we'd been out before. I mean, it is on the edge of the Cairngorms. As you know, the Grey Man of Ben McDooey.
Obviously, when I throw a question out like this, I don't expect you to really have an answer because I don't think anybody does. But do you think there's a connection to the Grey Man and the stories of the Grey Man? Let's assume it's not a Brocken Spectre, as people say.
No, it's not a Brocken Spectre, is it? No,
I don't think so. How could it be when people actually, in some instances, claim to have seen this thing?
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, these mountaineering guys and hill walkers, they know what the Brocken Spectre is. There's got to be certain conditions for that to appear. It's misty, the sun's behind you, it's casting your shadow onto the mist, and that's a Brocken Spectre. Do you know,
you just brought a memory into my mind, and I'm sorry for cutting through your words, but it'd have gone otherwise. I think Linny and Pete, and I've seen Pete's in, I didn't mention Pete. I hope you're feeling a lot better, mate. I'll just grab this cup of tea. That's more important than thanks, Mary. We were up at Bempton, probably last year, it might have been the year before, but we actually saw a Brocken Spectre in the mist, and it were over the sea. It looked like a figure, and it must have been our shadow, one of us, and it were over the sea. I'm not sure if you remember that, if it were women, but yeah, obviously it's not there. It's not some kind of otherworldly apparition. There's a natural phenomena, but what they're talking about there in the Cairngorms, there's too much detail for it to be that. We knew what we were looking at.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
Even, further in towards Aberdeen, I mean, I think that there's been sightings. The nearest one, Aberdeen City, where that's my home now. I think it's only like 6 miles out the city, Kirkhill Forest. There's meant to actually be a photo. Somebody took a photo of something in the woods there while walking their dog. And then you've got Bankery area where there was 3 guys chased. They were in a car, and this thing was running alongside their car.
Yeah.
So and again, that area is rich in like Pictish stones, Pictish forts, hill forts, all around. You know, it's absolutely soaked in that kind of history and folklore.
It comes with territory, doesn't it, Stan? It really
does.
does.
Yeah.
Before we move on to 16 miles from Aberdeen, I don't think we've done that. Let's have a look. This question probably applies to UFO. This is why full disclosure will never happen, because they can't protect us and there's nothing they can do. Okay, Simon, thank you. I'd put it up because I've just had a little rant on camera over the weekend about disclosure, because I don't know about you, Stan, and people in chat, but I'm sick of hearing about it.
Yeah.
And it's
just
not going to
come out with it. Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as easy as standing on a podium or standing in front of Congress or some government of the world and saying, yeah, we're being visited. There's so many implications.
Yeah.
If disclosure of there is an alien presence, we'll call it alien. We don't mean from outer space, just something that's not human, that's been interacting with us. There's so many implications that are there for mankind. I mean, will we unite? Will it make nations unite? I'm not sure that it will, but or will it divide us even more? Will we start saying, what planet are you from, instead of, what country are you from? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you often think, I mean, the speech that Ronnie Reagan made, there must be something. They know.
Well,
I don't think breaking it to us, is what's it going to do to the general public?
And what is disclosure? What's it going to be? Are they just going to release more files that say, yes, we've been visited? Not yes, we've been visited. Yes, something's been seen. More files and more information, more of the same, to kind of pacify us for another 10 years until we get the next round of disclosure. Because we've had disclosure before, or allegedly. MOD files released, CIA, FBI, lots of files have been released, but still
just throwing breadcrumbs at her.
Yeah,
just throwing breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Let's just see what questions we've got for a minute, Stan, before we go to something else, if that's okay. 14, the description of a diamond-shaped object over the bridge in 1990 reminds me of PC Alan Godfrey's sighting in 1980. His description was almost identical and similar in size. Thanks, 14. Yeah. And so a few people have asked me if I'll get Alan Godfrey on. If anybody's got contact with Alan, I know he'd not been well, I'd like to speak to him and go through that case. Let's have a look. If you've put your questions not in caps, you're not going to get them asked, because I'm skipping through these. Let's have a look here. I think we're just need sleep. I think some of the UFO sightings on our coast could be could be explained by experimental aircraft being tested. Yeah, I'll go with that, against our radars. Have you ever been contacted by anybody who worked at Fylingdales or Staxton Wold? I wouldn't say if I had, but no, I haven't. No, but why? I don't think they'd want to contact me. If somebody contacted me and said, "Don't say anything," I wouldn't. I really wouldn't say. But at the end of the day, they've got nothing to gain by contacting somebody who researches unexplained phenomena, especially if it's supposed to remain secret, because there's always the potential that they're going to say something. You know what I mean? So, no, I haven't. No.
It's similar. Like I've got a friend who was ex-Royal Marine, based at Fars Lane, protecting the nuke subs. And back in the 90s, he was saying that what they knew was down at Machrihanish.
Do you know, you must have been reading my mind. I was just going to ask you about Machrihanish.
And which was like the emergency landing strip for the space shuttle, if it had missed it.
Longest runways is that correct?
Yes, it is. And what they knew was that there was a group of Navy SEALs permanently stationed there.
Right.
You've got to think, what's Navy SEALs doing at Machrihanish? I think the official reason was that, they were there, so they were kind of like a response team in Europe. But they've got loads of bases in Germany and all across Europe.
Yeah.
Why Navy SEALs at Machrihanish? And that's where they were tested. that's where stuff was coming in that they were testing, coming across the Atlantic, for sure.
And I'd got somebody giving me some cryptid reports from Machrihanish, and then it kind of just went quiet. So I never really spoke about it in detail because I wanted more information. I've no reason to believe they were lying, but it just dried up.
Again, you find that there's cryptid reports very near where there is military bases.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I found fascinating.
Yeah. The Five Roads roundabout sighting on the A92, which is near the Tay Bridge. I would say it's less than half a mile from where the guy that told you he was heading up on the train to go and work offshore to Aberdeen. He saw the two deer with the box thing spinning in the field.
The cube. Yeah, the cube.
Yeah, the cube. That is where a civil servant at 3:40 in the morning, when he came out for where he was working, and I know the location, it used to be the fuel dump for RAF Lookers. RAF Lookers is like 2 miles down the road. And he saw this Bigfoot crossing the road in front of him. 3 strides to cross this road and back up into the woods. And the smell, the stench was foul.
And that's interesting. When you're talking about that stench, that smell, and if it were foul, you'd think that it'd be detectable if it was some kind of permanent resident to the forests or woodland.
Yeah.
You think, well, we're going to find this thing because I've never smelt out like it, and it's strong, and you can smell it from 200 yards away. We know we're close to it. So, you know, it's something that a lot of people don't really concentrate on, thinking, the smell's foul. We believe you. But why aren't we detecting that smell?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not asking for an answer, Stan. It's just I was just going to put this question up. Maybe these things don't see time the same way we do. There's no past or present, future for them. It's all the same. Yeah, well, perhaps you're right. Yeah. Let's just keep going down. Are you okay for time, Stan?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, let's have a look. Al Durham. Always get a straight answer. Most straight talking bloke I've ever met is Al Durham. Seriously. I've got all time in world for Al. I bring Mary on camera. I wish I'd read that before. I want to put that question up, Stan. No, I'm joking. Bring Mary on camera when she brings the brew. It's a great woman. Good to hear from you, Al. He's been up to Bempton with us, and I've met him a few times at conferences. And seriously, what a decent bloke. And he'll be checking his head now, saying, because he's pretty modest as well. But it's true. All right, let's have a look. I doubt that disclosure will tell anything that we don't already know. Well, this is true, I suppose, and in a way, it's not. Anybody we know that there's people in chat now, and I'm fully appreciative of what you said, that a lot of the stuff that we've seen up on those cliffs and around Eastern North Yorkshire could be military tech being tested. Quite happy to hold my hands up. I'm not going to say, oh no, it's got to be alien, but there's other parts of this subject that it is something exotic. It is something that's not ours, and we don't need some president or some prime minister to tell us that, do we?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
I think we've been getting a lot of disclosure through Hollywood.
Drip fed subliminally.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got this disclosure. Tim, disclosure from compulsive liars who have covered up the subject for decades is not disclosure. Well, in a way, and I won't say compulsive liars or label anybody, but in a way, would we believe any government or high-ranking supreme agency that is telling us there's a reality? Would we? We do get lied to, don't we, as a populace? Or would we believe what we were being told? I'm not sure we would.
No.
It's I don't know. Well, let's just roll down here. Surprised that I'm sorry about this, Stan. I'll just do it as I'm rolling along. Nigel Sheffield.
Right, yeah.
They can release files when they want to, Paul. Oh no, I'm not going to read that one. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. You see, I don't read these really. Maybe let's have a look. Where are we? Except the disclosed documents will be billed heavily redacted. Yeah, but that's all we'll get. We'll get files that show something's been seen, but we'll just get blacking, blocks of blacking, redactions. Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's move on then. And I've just wrote down here one line: 16 miles from Aberdeen.
Yeah, the village of Colliston, small fishing village, really small fishing village. 16 miles north of Aberdeen, and in the early 70s, there was an account of a young girl, maybe about 5-6-year-old, her and her friends and brothers and sisters playing in the field at the top of the cliffs, and she kind of broke away from them, playing on her own, and kind of slipped and was hanging on to the grass and branches that was at the side of the cliff. And she was practically just ready to let go and fall into the sea, when this big, hairy, strong arm kind of came down and scooped her up and started carrying her. And all she could remember is this arm and her face being next to this large, hairy, pointed ear. And broad daylight, it was in the morning, and it put her down, but when it got to a safe spot, and it pointed to where our friends and that were playing, and kind of pushed her up to go on. So she ran, and when she looked back, it had gone. It would be really interesting to find out who that woman is now and get that account. I mean, I think she spoke about that. It was reported she spoke about it quite recently for it to be recorded. But it would be good to try and find out who it is. But a lot of these folk just want to remain anonymous because
it's strange, Stan, isn't it? Because after the event, a very short time after the event, they seemed quite vocal.
Yeah,
but then it dies, doesn't it? It just
Yeah.
quiet down.
yeah. I think it's you maybe talk about it. Like in my experience, I spoke about it, and you kind of get a wee bit of ridicule. You get, folk poking fun at you, and so you just stay quiet because you think it's not worth talking about. Folk are going to think I'm losing my mind, or it kind of knocks your credibility as a person.
Yeah, and does it not give confidence to talk about it? If I always say on here, afterwards this stream will go out, and then people will be commenting. They'll have either liked it or they don't like it. For the most part, people enjoy what they're listening to. But if somebody said, "Well, I listened to Stan's story, but I'm not sure I could believe it," I'd leave that. Or I listened to what Paul said, and I don't really think I can believe it, I'd leave that. If they come out on the road, I remove them. Then we're not there to be talked like abused,
Years ago, it would have affected me.
Yeah.
That's why I never spoke about it. But see now, I'm not caring what anybody thinks. They weren't there. They didn't experience it. It was me that experienced it. I've had conversations with people who have said, "You're talking rubbish," or what a load of rubbish UFOs are, what a load of rubbish this is. Yeah, and I'm not putting anybody down for their beliefs, but this is somebody that goes to church every Sunday. In fact, they're there every night practically, and that's what they preach on everybody else. Well, you prove to me your God exists.
You're believing in a supernatural being, aren't you?
Aye. Yeah. You know what I find more plausible is that there's life on another planet.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the excuse that came out with? And this just shows you the mentality of some people. Is it would be some size of petrol tank they would need in their spaceship to get here.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, jumping back to disclosure, and let's assume it's not going to. We know it's not going to happen, I think, but let's not in the way that people want to hear it. But
Yeah.
let's assume it did, and we're told that we are being visited.
Yeah.
It's going to absolutely turn physics on its head if we're being visited. If we are being visited from distant
Yeah.
star systems,
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
It's going to, all these people that have studied for years with their degrees, physics, science, knocks that right out.
Mm.
Same with religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, some might assimilate and sort of mold into it, but we aren't naming any religions, Stan. I mean, some would be so shocked by the nature of what's being told. I don't think they could accept it. It'd be a complete destruction of society for them, or the world as they knew it, should I say? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and that's it. It's not the general public as in a whole that would melt down. It's just certain factions
in
the population. It's really going to blow their world apart. Absolutely blow their world up in their belief system.
Well, we'll just have a look at this, Stan. Thudder, I used to live within sight of the Tay Bridge. Saw many strange things. Okay.
Yeah.
We came from a conference a few years ago. There were youngest daughter Laura, and if you're in here, Laura, I haven't seen if you're in, but if you are, good to see you, because she always tells me and I end up missing her. There were Laura, I think Andy Ramsden were driving, David Hine. There were about 5 of us in car, and there'd been an accident on what's called the Goole Bridge, and we had to come the other road round, and cameras were in boot. And I only talking about it other day, and like a chandelier, when you see light fittings and they're hung at different angles away from each other as they drop down. And there were lights over at Goole Bridge, and they were low. I couldn't believe it. And we were all sort of bumper to bumper, traveling really slow. We couldn't stop and get cameras out or anything, Stan. We wanted to, do you know what I mean? But we couldn't, and that was frustrating because that were a really interesting sighting. I know that's not the Tay Bridge, Thudder, but no, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, just go on, mate. If you've anything to add to that, just fire away.
Nothing to add to the Colliston one. Another one which is near to the town where I was brought up as a youngster, up until before I moved away to Aberdeen 30 years ago, was the village of Kennaway, and I was brought up in Leven in Fife, and Kennaway in 1970. At the back of Kennaway, there's a network of small roads, and you're heading into what's an area like what's called the Cults and the Star of Mark Inch. Now, Mark Anderson, who's been on before, Mark lived in that area, and there's a lot of stuff happens there, a lot of strange experiences people have had there. Well, in 1970, there was on Porter's Brae, there's a couple of entrances into the woods for the Forestry Commission. And there was a courting couple in the car one night, and they were disturbed by this massive, hairy bipedal being basically watching them through the car window. And that was 1970. But I remember as a youngster and a teenager, the rumours and the talk about these roads in that area, never to go there at night, just because of the weird stuff that goes on, and renowned for like devil worshipping and everything like that.
I wonder how much of that is attracted, the people doing that, because of the strangeness of the area, and thinking that they are going to be able to evoke something. I think there's a possibility there, don't you?
Yeah,
but it's fascinating, isn't it, that these things actually come to look in a car, or the pacing cars as they're driving. They want that attention, yet they don't want any attention. It's odd.
And again, for that area, you're only maybe 5 miles along the road for where the Falkland Hill incident happened, that was investigated by Malcolm Robinson.
Tell us a little bit about that, if you want. I mean, you might
that was 1996, and there was a woman and her friend jumped in the car with their kids, and they were going to go to the next village to buy coffee. And as they were going along, they seen these strange lights in the woods. So they pulled down into the lower road and they stopped and they were watching these beings unload canisters and into the field and into the woods and then back and forward. And there was like a taller entity kind of directed them. Well, they were seen and they were pursued by these beings in bubbles. And they managed to get away, but over the next matter of months or a year, they were still having like paranormal experiences in their house. The kid said he was able to see one of the beings outside his school window, classroom window. All these kind of things happened, and I always thought it was just those folk that was involved that saw this. But when I was at a Skywatch about a year and a half ago, in that area that Malcolm organised, and one of my friends that turned up with this woman, I didn't know her. And when everybody went away, we were standing chatting, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, this is so and so." I'm like, he says it was her dad that was walking his dog the same night this happened, further up the village, and he saw the black triangle UFO coming across the sky, and that really kind of, because I was like, "Oh, that's another bit of confirmation that someone else unknowingly knew what was going on further along the road."
Yeah,
with these beings in pursuit of this family. He was walking his dog. He's
pursued in bubbles. Is it like transparent?
Yeah, transparent bubbles, seemingly. Yeah.
It's fascinating you say that, and I'm only throwing this out because you never know. Somebody might know a little bit about it, but I wish I could find emails. I received some emails years ago now, and probably 12, 15 years ago, when I was using AOL, so it's a long time since. But it's somebody from who lived at a place near Doncaster called Hexthorpe. And I know Hexthorpe well because I used to live near there myself. And apparently there was some upstairs in the school, the Hexthorpe school, you could look out of one of the windows onto a flat roof, which had been a set of classrooms. And they saw a transparent bubble with a being in it, an entity in it. And I'm sure it was a teacher that started emailing me about it. I never spoke about it as regards revealed any names or anything, but I'm throwing it out there now in case anybody's got any knowledge of it. It's a small world, Stan. It's like talking about, the black figure on the road near Old Man's Mouth, and then we've got 2 more reports. It's like what you've spoken about today. Somebody might contact me or reach out to you and have a bit of knowledge for you. But that one at Hexthorpe always interested me because they weren't just 1 or 2 people that saw it. There were a lot of people saw it. So, we might get some news on something like that.
I remember when I first moved here, and I started working with a local council, and one of the guys that I worked with, he had one of the magazine's sightings.
I think we've lost Stan again, or you've lost me. I'm not sure who you've lost, but we'll just remain here for a moment. And we might get that story done this time. We've only got like 30 minutes, haven't we? So we'll just see what happens. I think Stan will probably go off air. I'll just put this up and we'll address this to Stan as well. It's in small case. And either of you wish you would never have these encounters. Do you think you will ever get close to any understanding, or will it just be more experiences? I know it's not in caps, but I did see that, and I don't know. What about you guys in chat? We've got 330, 340 people. Stan should be back shortly because he's just gone off screen. We'll just wait a minute. What about you guys in chat, if you can still hear me? Here we go.
Yeah, I was away just checking the internet there to see if it was working. Yeah, all good. So
all good. So, right, we'll just throw this at you then, Stan. It's to us both. Do either of you wish you had never had these experiences, stroke encounters, and do you think you will ever get any closer to understanding, or will it just be more experiences? What are your thoughts?
My thought is, it's like any experience in your life. I have no regrets. I've had some terrible experiences, but you know, where I am in my life now, I'm more than happy. You know, I've had some really low points where I've went through, you know what, I've came out to the other end, and where I am now, and I'm really, really happy. And that experience I had, if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be here now sitting, sharing this and being involved in this kind of, you know, interest, hobby. I mean, I'm not a researcher.
No.
But we just love going out and spending a couple of hours here, there, where folk have said that they've seen something. I mean, it's great. No, I'm quite. At the time, I wasn't happy, but when I look back, I'm like, yeah, it's part of me, and I'm going to own it.
Well, why not? Well, it's like anything else, Stan, isn't it? You know, if you never had a bad day,
yeah,
you'd never know what a good day was, would you? You know,
no, exactly. Yeah,
it's true, isn't it? You know what I mean? So
you've got to weigh it up
and downs. Yeah, you've got to.
Yeah,
to have bad days to appreciate what a good day is. You know, and I think throughout life we've all sort of trod that path, haven't we? Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Ray, let's have a look here. Good to see you, mate. I think for us to reach where we are with disclosure is extraordinary. Okay, yeah. Do you think we will reach the stage that the general public will acknowledge the phenomena? Well, I think we're a little bit closer.
Yeah. I think there's be a lot of people that still deny it. They've got the blinkers on. They've got, it's a fear thing, isn't it?
It's hard when you sort of, when it's ingrained into you that this is it's a giggle factor. But I do think the giggle factor and the ridicule has lessened its grip. I don't think it's got quite as much purchase as what it used to have. No. And when you've got people in suits in high positions listening to pilots and other people giving their testimony, should we say, then we must be getting a bit closer. But Gray, I don't think anybody's going to come out. I just think the implications, let's face it, we're talking about America or Trump delivering it. Is it just because he's curious? Because I don't know, but any country in the world, any superpower might have a hold of this knowledge. So, and there's a few factors, isn't there? If disclosure, if it's power, whatever this is, the phenomena, let's assume that there's powers that be know a lot about it. I don't know whether they do or they don't, but let's assume that they do. They're holding power. Yeah, they're holding a lot of power. They're not going to want to relinquish some of that power to Stan Smith or Paul Sinclair or Yorkshire Grey, because we would have some of it then, won't we? It might not. We don't mean we can do anything in the world, but you're just giving up a little bit of serious knowledge.
And again, it's a whole kind of like it would ruin the oil and petrochemical industry, pharmaceutical companies, because
new energy source was discovered.
It would end starvation. It would end poverty.
Though. Yeah, but there's people in high places that want to hold that power, want to hold on to that. Yeah, get it.
Because it makes them money.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes misery makes money. Let's have a look. If they're not, they will get missed if they're not. Lee's saying, I don't know what that means, Lee. I will do that one. Everyone hit the like button, please. And thank you very much. If you're new to Truth Proof and you've not subscribed, please consider giving it a little subscribe. It's got to be on your phone or your laptop, your PC. And like I say, it's totally free. Stan's given us 2 hours of his time tonight, and I'm sat here ranting on. And I'll just say, well, as I do. And if you're interested in the Truth Proof books, truthproof.uk or eBay. And there's 5 books, 5 of these, including Night People's. Obviously, there's 4 books with the UFO, cryptid, unexplained phenomena subject, and my own experiences, which are the Night People. Plus, don't want to forget the Wolflands that myself and Les Drake made, which I'm amazingly proud of. Wolflands. I just love the film. Have you seen Wolflands? I don't know if you've seen it. Have you?
Oh, I've watched it about 3 times. I purchased it on Amazon. So
yeah. I actually knew it, but I just wanted to hear him say it.
Yeah, it's one of the best documentaries I've watched. Yeah.
Well, what I find interesting, and I've said it before, a lot of the American researchers and people within the subject of cryptids, you know, you got like Daryl Denton, Josh Turner, Ron Moorhead.
Yeah.
All these people, they really like Wolflands. Do you know what I'm saying? Matt Emch, you know, they've got really, really glowing reviews. Yet the UK researchers, I don't know whether it's jealousy. I've no idea. Nothing. You know,
nothing at all. Yeah.
Nothing.
No, I mean, it really drew me in when I discovered Truth Proof, because prior night 2019, I was doing in Bridlington every October with my mates to the scooter rally there, and used the caravan park at Reeton and everything. Been there, and when I started watching your podcast, and I was like, I've been there, and it really that's what brought back my experience and seeing folk coming on and talking about it, and it was okay to talk about it. And
if you get down this way again, Stan, we'll have to meet up, because it's a small world, because we spoke other day, didn't we? And I said, "Oh, do you know this place and that place?" And I said, "You're literally 50 yards from where I live." You know?
Leisure World.
Leisure World, very close. Yeah, literally 200 yards away. Do you think the Spielberg movie is getting us ready for what is about to come? It's not a daft question, really, is it? That?
No.
Because subliminally, we're getting drip fed this. You touched on it earlier, Stan, didn't you?
Yeah. I think Close Encounters. You know, when you look at that, and then you see the cameo by, you know, Heimek coming on, and then his TV series Taken. I'm not sure it was shown here on TV here. I think that was around about the early 2000s, but I managed to watch it on Amazon, and it's absolutely just bang on what the stuff that people that are getting abducted are saying. You know, it's so good.
Anybody who's not watched Taken, I've watched it as well, and I suggest you watch it, because it really is good. And like you said, when do you think it was? 2000?
I think so. I think it was early 2000s. It was made.
And the little girl who was the star, who sort of she was in it, but her voice were going all the way through the film or the documentary. There were a lot of episodes, weren't there?
Yes. Yeah.
It's Dakota Fanning, weren't it? So now you can tell, because she's a grown woman. It's really good take, and I'd recommend anybody watch it. Yeah, and I'm sure people.
Excellent. Yeah.
So let's have a look. This must mean the thing that chased you. So it might have been a Guardian after all. I'm tipping I've missed a part of a question there, Rihanna, and then the next part of it. If it had wanted to hurt you, it would have.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just see if we've got any more, Stan. Let's Al Durham. This is not about my wife, is it? Al bringing me cups of tea again. The disclosure has already happened. We all know what we have seen, experienced. 100% of the academics agree with whoever is funding their research. He's right, isn't he? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's just keep going, Stan, because I want to talk about. I don't think we've done. We have done the roundabout Bigfoot, or the 5 roads roundabout.
We touched on that. That was the one on A92 where the guy who was the civil servant. He'd obviously been working at the fuel dump for RAF Lookers, working for the civil service. Yeah, and the Bigfoot creature kind of came out the woods, crossed the road 3 strides, and up into the opposite trees.
Yeah, one of my best friends, Stan, who passed away a couple of years ago, Robbie Shankland, Crofter, and he used to spend a lot of time. Is it Galloway or Galway Forest?
The Galloway Forest, yeah.
Galloway Forest. And he heavily into the cryptid research, and I'd have put him up there with some of the best researchers, if that's the name for these people. You know, I'm not a researcher. We're all researchers. If I am, then we all are. Everybody in chat is, because we're all interested in the chosen subject or genre of what we want to do. But Robbie were heavily invested in that. And it was a small world because we'd become best friends 40 years previous. He came down from Scotland and no money, and used to spend a lot of time at our home, myself and Mary, when our girls were little, and we'd feed him and all, we'd really good.
Yeah.
Then there's a big gap. Then he no idea that he were interested in this subject.
Yeah.
And then he must have gone to a conference in Scotland, and my name came up, and he contacted me all those years later. So friendship rekindled. So where am I going with it? So Robbie were in that forest. I've got all his research. I've got his before the arc research is what he called it. So I've got all his work, and he were gifted. And I really trusted the guy's word. He were on his own a lot. He spent a lot of time wild camping, and he were placing stones and gifts, and he just sent me the photographs, and he were being given things back in that forest. But his brother worked at a quarry, which must have been, I wouldn't say quite close, but within the area. And I'll not say his brother's name, but he didn't believe him. He used to mock him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't believe any of it. And part of the job in the quarry, because they worked through the night, was taking a tractor and trailer with a big diesel tank on it down to where they would need these light oils and, throw light out and refueling. And he, after he'd seen it, he claims that going down one of these forest roads during the night to where everybody would have been working, a Bigfoot, he said it was a Bigfoot, it crossed the road. He went from laughing at his brother to believing him. Do you know what I'm saying? And Robbie told me that. That's interesting. He's changed his perspective, but he never talked to me about it. I mean, after Robbie passed us, I spoke to him, but he wouldn't. It's like some people, they don't want to believe at all costs, even if the truth smacks them in the face. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah. Another one. I was on about when I moved up here. Before the signal got lost there, one of the guys that I worked with, he knew a woman who lived in it's maybe 5 miles north of Aberdeen, one of the little villages, and Balmeedy, and her dog was agitated about 3 a.m. and was at the patio doors. And again, this village is on the coast. So she opens the patio doors, and the dog goes out to the garden, and it's looking up and sniffing the air, and it's barking. Not interested in doing the toilet. And what she saw was black triangle, red light, in the centre, white light on each tip.
Yeah.
Just silently gliding, following the coastline right along, and it got to along where the Aberdeen beachfront is, and where the big sort of kind of beach ballroom is, and it roughly got along to that area, and then straight up.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It didn't tip, it just levitated right up, and
silent, I'm assuming.
Silent. Nay, the speed that went, you'd expect to hear a sonic boom or something like that. Nothing.
Do you think that that's our technology then, Stan, or do you think?
I think that's something that we've got. But as you say, I mean, but there again, as you said, they've been seen for centuries, haven't they?
Yeah. There's earliest ones that I've been sort of privy to were the ones John Hanson's got. And we'll have to get John on. He said he'd come on actually a few weeks ago, and I've not followed it up. John's got a huge collection, not a museum, an archive of UFO-related material, probably the biggest in UK. So, and he's got some, I think, in 1901 triangle reports. And so I can't see that being ours, but I'll go with what you're saying.
It's quite funny because, as you said, like the guys, was it Hummonby, where the guys that were doing the vehicle restorations and that, and the flying saucer appeared outside, and it was almost like a 1950s style sci-fi.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see Andy talking about it now, and he says, it's had this like little being inside it, like an alien. I could see it moving about. He said, but he goes, it weren't real. I mean, bearing in mind, Andy lives literally 300 yards from where I'm sat now.
Yeah.
You know, we've been friends for years. This
Yeah.
is the thing with him. I know that's not what we're getting at, but we've been friends for years and I never knew about it and he knew my interest. It were only when his lad Dave got working with me.
Yeah.
No, I tell a lie. It was only when Dave and Nick and his dad were working at a place in Flamborough doing some work that they actually told the guy who were overseeing the work. They got on about one explained and they told him. And but it turned out that Jim knew me. He says, "You've got to tell Paul." And that was kind of cat out at bag because they didn't really want to talk about it. You know, it's do you know why they didn't? Because they got a lot of ridicule because it were happening over a 3-year period, not just the UFO related. You know that there were a lot of other stuff happening. And
like the poltergeist sort of activity, beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's. I think we've done that. We were talking about Taken. Taken was terrifying, as was Communion and Night People. Do you know? Sounds like a boast, but Whitley Strieber said that he doesn't know anybody that's been affected or had as much interaction with the visitors as Paul Sinclair. And that's coming from Whitley Strieber. But anyway, so we're just putting it in relation to what Rihanna meant in relation to Stan not regretting the experience and thinking he wouldn't be where he is without it. I see what you're saying now, Rihanna. Thank you. Surprised we got to it because we don't normally get to these questions, but we've got to a few now. Let's just have a look so they can't all have I've never experienced anything like this, nor do I wish to, but I do believe those who have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just put that up as it's not a question, but you can buy Wolflands, and there it is. Yeah, and we've knocked on with time here, Stan, tonight, mate, haven't we?
Yeah, we sure have. Yeah.
Well, I've come to the bottom at questions. So have we done Standing Stane Road or Stone?
Aye. Locally, I mean, on the map, it's called Standing Stane. Standing Stane Road. It's a A915. But locally, in the Fife tongue, it's called the Stonyston.
Stonyston.
Yeah. Stonyston. Standing.
Yeah.
Stane.
Well, it's dialect in East Yorkshire. Black is Blake.
Blake, aye. Yeah.
And we've done it before on stream. Like if you were a post hole is a posthole. A turkey is a tocky. Do you know? It's just local dialect, and if you
local
get to
dialect,
So, do we have a story from Standing Stone Road, or have we done that one? 1986.
Yeah, that was the one with the dark entity that was following me. So
right. So I think we might have covered them all. We've done the Kenaway?
Kenaway, yeah, we've done that one. That was a courting couple in the car. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're pretty much exhausted it here, people. Somebody's just said, can we get Whitley Strieber on again? Whitley said he'd come on. I went on Whitley's Dreamland just before Christmas, and I asked him if he'd come on, and he did say, who's put that up? Dragonborn. He did say he would come on. It's me that's not followed it up. And I did message him actually to try and get Anona Blackwell on, because I think everybody loved Anona when she came on and we're talking. I hope you're feeling a bit better, Anona, if you're listening to this as well. But I can't see no more questions here, Stan. But just before we kind of wind it down, what do you see yourself doing then? Do you actively go out looking in, I won't say these locations, but in locations, or do you go as a group of researchers, enthusiasts then?
Enthusiasts. There's usually three of us. But we're planning to get out and kind of do more stuff, getting out into Aberdeenshire and the north, seeing just going and checking out some areas where things have been reported. I mean, really locally, not far from where I'm sitting just now in the area, Aberdeen, called Torry. You've got the Torry Battery, which is right at the mouth of the Aberdeen Harbour. It's where people go and they view the dolphins, and it's an old fortress. It was an old gun emplacement, and it's been used for many things over the years since. It used to house people after the Second World War that were left homeless, and during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even I think that there's a guy that I know who I've still got to organise a meeting with him and have a chat, but they've all had really weird experiences within there. We've had a couple of nights up there and sat there. One night was a really edgy feel to it, like you were getting watched. And then the other night that we went up, you know, it was so calm and peaceful, and you know, you could have sat there all night.
You're so right with that, Stan, because there's we say this when we go to, I don't mean the cliff tops, all sorts of locations. Sometimes you'll feel that energy, won't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think that will feel it.
The people that have had experiences, it's been time slips.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there was one, it was like a group of bikers went in, and they went in and they were parked up and sitting talking, having a smoke, and then the next thing there was these folk walking about in what they thought was like period clothing, and they're like, you know, and they realised that they weren't real, that it wasn't real people, so they left. They were on their bikes and away, and then one guy went up. This was during the day, and he walked through the entrance, and again, people dressed up in old clothes, and he thought, oh, they must be marking a documentary or a drama. Turned around, turned back, and no one there. It's like a time slip. So, yeah.
So, and it's strange, isn't it, that you get that? You get certain areas producing one particular part of the unexplained phenomenon. You're talking about time slips. You know, you get certain areas where things are seen on a road. We've got Whitegate Hill near us, and there's cryptid reports of something jumping into the road, and it seems to be seen.
And even when similar to what you guys experienced, you and Lenny, about 3 years ago, we were quite going a bit of wild camping, me, Joe, and Nessie, and we went up to New Aberdour, which it's not real wild camping. It's a little car park, and people go up there and camp over the weekend. It's a little cove. It's beautiful, right on the North Sea. And we were sitting about 2 in the morning, and there was this like flash. I mean, the place went daylight for a nanosecond, and we just looked at each other and we were like, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And the things that we saw in the sky that night was unbelievable. I mean, try to film them on your mobile phone is just hopeless. But these, I mean, there's no way they're satellites. They're changing direction. They're speeding up. They're slowing down. You know. And the weird thing in the morning when we were packing up, there was a big sort of kind of like Land Rover further down the car park, and I had this big orange dome tent. When they were taking this tent down in sections, here there was this huge telescope. These guys were sitting watching the sky all night with this telescope. And we never noticed that until they were dismantling and putting everything in the back of this Range Rover, and away they went. And you're saying, you know,
the flashes of light fascinate me, and I don't mean everybody who visits up there with us, because I wonder how many people. You said the word nanosecond, and I think Jax, who comes up there with us, he says it's a nanosecond. And he said a similar thing. I wonder how many people haven't quite registered it. Because it really is. It's faster than a blink. And
if I didn't have Joe with me, if I was just sitting there myself, or she was sitting there herself, we wouldn't have thought any more of it. But it was because we were both together, and it just boom.
Yeah. I wonder what that is. You know, I wonder if it's just some kind of natural Earth phenomena, or whether there's something truly paranormal taking place. Because we've got it, and we've had little glitches. I mean, Linny got one when he's looking through film, and he says it seems to light up, and he brought it to me, and we put it into little editing. We didn't do anything to it, as in adding light, frame by frame, lighter, 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 and then we're literally white out. We're immersed in
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Like you said, one frame and then it's gone.
Yeah.
The thing is, we never saw that. You saw that one, what you're talking about. You know, the lads at Ullenby, they they talk about coming home in the night and seeing daylight. It literally just flicks to daylight, like somebody's put a switch on and turned it off.
Yeah.
Energy there. The energy that must need to turn the world around them, should we say, into daylight. Yeah. Crazy.
And it's not like just somebody with a searchlight lighting up the area around you. The sky was blue.
Yeah. It's weird. It's almost almost like a glitch in time, then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, somebody contacted me, and I did a full interview, recorded and everything, and then his internet connection were terrible, and it meant it'd have been too jumpy for me to have run with. And if you're watching this tonight, I'll be contacting you next week or so, because I want to redo it, if you will, and you'll know just who I mean. And he's in the daytime, and I think it will Leeds, and he's working in an office block.
Yeah.
And I think he were doing some kind of course, and the tutors there and everything, and it went night from day to night. Just literally everything switched off and came back on in, like you just said, a nanosecond.
Yeah.
You weren't the only one to notice it. And yeah, that's fascinating.
It was like the blue. I sent you the photo of the blue light in the sky when we were up there. It's an area up northwest of Aberdeen, the Carbrach. It's an old church in the middle of moorland. And here's this blue neon light breaking through the clouds. And when I sent you the picture, I mind you saying, you need a railway line. And the nearest railway line's like 20 miles away up north in Huntly. So it wasn't the thing that checks it over. And there's no overhead cables. It's still diesel trains that run up and down that line.
Yeah.
Checked there was no kind of aurora borealis that night, nothing. And here's this electric blue light up in the sky through the clouds.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Stan, of this question, and you're probably not going to be able to answer this because we've only got a few minutes. Can Stan tell us about, I'm going to let you read that. Viaduct.
Yeah, the Markinch Viaduct. Early 90s, me and two of my mates coming back for a scooter club meeting. We all had pretty much brand new Vespa scooters. So we're heading underneath the Markinch Viaduct. The three scooters all together cut out, dead. Engines, boom, that was it. So we pulled in, we couldn't work out what it was. Turned the petrol off, back on, choke out, couple of kicks, boom, the three of them started up again. But how would three independently powered engines cut out?
This didn't make sense, does it?
No. And again, that was Mark that put that question up. Mark lived in the Markinch area. There's loads of stuff happens around there, absolute loads of strange, weird stuff that goes on.
Yeah, that Mark Anderson.
Yeah.
I missed that, Mark. So apologies, because we've had Mark on, haven't we?
That's Mark that's doing a really good thing. He's doing his a counselling course. So he wants to help people who have had a traumatic experience with experience of paranormal to help them through. And it's some fantastic experiences he's had as well. So, yeah.
Well, Stan, I can't believe it because we don't normally get through all the questions, and I think I've got through just about all of them tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to say, mate, because you've kept us entertained. That's the word. Enthralled for 2 hours, and I really appreciate it, Stan. I'm sure everybody in chat. We've held over 300 people in chat all night. So.
Well, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, mate. Would you come back?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm going to say good night then, Stan, from myself.
Yeah, good night to you and good night, folks. Yeah.
And we'll see you next Sunday, people. Thank you very much. Take care. Thank you,
Right.
Dan. Is this an adventure or what? We don't need unexplained phenomena. I hope you guys are enjoying this journey we're taking you on. I know you come expecting to hear about big cats, cryptids, UFOs. We will touch on some of that, but I think it's worth sharing some of this for you, don't you? There's only 2 living souls up here today.
Because I can see it in my mind, I can see it in my head what I saw, but I can't describe.
Our eyes was closed, like a brightish light in my face, and I just felt paralysed.
Someone said there's something out there, so we had a look. It looked like a walnut. That's the only way I can describe it.
It was like it had loads of tiny little windows all over it, and it had lights in those windows, but not a light that illuminates.
Anyway, we were ushered into this lounge. This fella come in, he said, whatever you saw was a weather effect.
And everything is deathly silent. There's no sea, there's no wind, there's no night noise, because, you know, there's foxes all over here. There's nothing.